Well, hello, this is Wilson Cole, and I'm president of Adams, Evans, and Ross. And one of the phenomena that I'm seeing, and we have seen over the last few years, and we deal with about 300 UK recruiting firms, but that's what's the difference that we see between a UK recruiter and a US recruiter. Typically, and these are generalizations, there's always exceptions to the rules. But the biggest thing that we typically see from our US firms, and we deal with about 2,500 US recruiting firms, we deal with about 350, give or take 50 UK recruiting firms. So our experience is going to be more over on the US side. But we typically see the recruiters are more, I don't want to say entrepreneurial, but for the United States are typically smaller businesses, probably more entrepreneurial, where the UK recruiters are a little bit more corporate. Some of that is just based on how the business is done. In the US, you have these massive HR departments. In the UK, the HR departments have a tendency to be a little smaller, and they just outsource recruiting a lot more than they do here in the US. Secondly, the recruiting firms have a tendency to be just bigger over in the UK, a general rule, than they are here in the US. I read an article, the UK recruiting market is about 30,000 recruiters, about 60 million people, 65 million population in the UK at the time of this recording. US is about 320 million, 330 million. And last estimate that I've seen is roughly about 20,000, maybe 24,000 recruiters. So here in the US have 5 times the population and a third less recruiters. So we're starting to see a lot of the jump with the UK recruiters over here. One of the things, from a tactical standpoint, how recruiters, candidates, quite frankly, I cannot tell you the depth of that because I don't ever see that. From a paperwork standpoint, as a general rule, our US recruiters are better at getting signed contracts, better at a paper trail than the UK recruiters. Part of that is that there are safeguards that are built into the law in the UK that protect recruiters a lot better than they do here in the US. So a lot of times whenever our UK recruiters come over and they say, well, I sent over our terms, so I'll put them on notice, but I didn't get anything signed. Well, depending on where that is located here in the US, that may be an absolute deal killer wherein because the laws are different state to state. Similarly to how they're between Wales and Scotland and England, there's kind of the overview, there's nuances, but here in the US, in my opinion, a little bit more defined. Perfect example is, California, not as an ordeal not to have a signed agreement. In the state of Massachusetts, their Supreme Court has ruled if you don't have a signed agreement, you don't have a deal. So the paperwork from the recruiters in the UK have a tendency not to be as thorough and as signed. And that's something that if I could tell all of our UK clients, get signed contracts because what's true in the UK isn't always true here. That's going to be the biggest that I see. It's going to see how those dynamics play out over the decade between UK and US recruiters. I mean, they're special between the US and the UK, and I spend a lot of time between the two. So, if you have U.S. debt and you need help collecting it, whether you're in the U.S. or whether you're in the U.K., we'd certainly love to work with you. Visit us at staffingdebt.com. Book an appointment with me or one of our staff attorneys. Also, if you want to look at backdoor hiring software that kind of tracks those candidates, know if any of them have been backdoor hired, visit our website at backdoorhires.com. And thank you. Hey guys, it's Wilson again, and this video was brought to you by Adams, Evans, and Ross. And if you like the video, please make sure that you click on the subscribe button and also like the video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below as well. If you'd like to learn more about our company, please visit our website at staffingdebt.com. And also remember, if there's no collection, there's absolutely no cost at all.